Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to STKE, otherwise known as Stake. The first, probably big, 2-key Mania tournament. We're on our third match of the weekend between datnonameboi and Prongle. So these two players are seeded. They're seeded something. 9th and 24th, that's it. 9th going to datnonameboi on Team Red, and Prongle 24th on the side of Team Blue. Alright, and they're already playing the warm-up here. Looking like quite an intense one, but that could also partially be due to them both using very high scroll speeds. Personally, I play on something around 20 for 2-key, so this is beyond my reading ability, especially for Prongle. It looks like this first warm-up is going to be going over to datnonameboi with a very high score of 977k. Given that we're very early into this tournament and very early into just 2-key in general, with this kind of tournament, as we have seen with 1-key, when you introduce a new kind of concept of a game almost, straight into a competitive setting, you end up with some very interesting results. And normally that ends up being the seeding is normally not very accurate. Kind of as you go through the tournament, you start seeing some lower seeds who dedicate themselves a lot to the game really coming out on top. And most of the time, Seed 1 just doesn't even win these kind of tournaments. So while we have a decently wide range of seeding here, of 9th and 24th, that doesn't mean that it's going to be hugely one-sided. Prongle might have just been really practicing this over the past couple of days and picked up a lot of skills since the qualifiers have concluded. But looking at the rolls, looks like neither player has has practiced those, with a 19 from Prongle and 28 from datnonameboi. And Prongle will be starting off with the bans. We have 3 Rice, 2 LN, 2 Hybrid, a Speed, an SV, and of course our unbannable Tiebreaker. As the lower seeded player, it would make sense to ban one of the more difficult maps of the pool, which would generally kind of be something like LN1, a Hybrid 1. I'd probably put Speed into that category as well. But Prongle's going to go for the Rice 3 ban. It definitely seems like one of those maps where you need to be very confident in your ability to jack really fast, or that your alternating skills are very on point. Because it's very heavy on streams on the one side of the lane. And datnonameboi is going to go out and ban LN1. So here we go, we're left with 2 Rice, 1 LN, 2 Hybrid, a Speed, and an SV. It looks like SV has been a pretty popular pick so far. I know it's been seen in at least 2 matches so far, so I think it's a good possibility we'll see it again, especially as both players are leaving it open. But datnonameboi, our higher seeded player, is going to be the first player to pick, and despite banning LN1, they're going to be picking LN2 first thing. In a way, it's kind of hard to comment on the maps this early into the tournament because there's not really much to compare it to, as 2-key is so new. So just a basic look at the stats. Lower star rating, 2.6 stars, very short at 1 minute 25 seconds. You normally expect tournament maps to be in between 2 to 3 minutes. So an interesting choice to go very short on this one, and the BPM is quite low. So far it's been found that high BPM on 2-key is very, very challenging, especially as players are still learning how the game works, really. So a lot of the maps tend to kind of focus down towards the low end, but we have seen 230 BPM, I believe it is, in the speed category. Things are looking very even to start off with so far. It's only about an 8,000 point lead in favour of datnonameboi, and a third of the map is already gone. But what's really important is Prongle is still holding very well, keeping a good ratio, and especially that full combo. There's some minor mistakes from datnonameboi. That score lead is going to shrink slightly. But despite the accuracies kind of growing for both players, looks like datnonameboi is continuing to stay on top. 11,000 score lead. A single miss could spell disaster though, but with only a quarter of the map left to go, since this is so short, we're really running out of time. It's going to be very difficult to call it until the scores are actually submitted, but things are looking very good for datnonameboi to take the point on their first pick, and they get it with 16,000 point score lead, 988k versus 972k. Very strong scores from both players. 2 full combos is always nice to see, and the accuracy is both very high as well. There was one single bad on the side of Prongle, but on the first note as well, or like on the 10th note, something like that, not the end of the world. But yeah, especially when you look at the ratios between the two players as well, more than an extra 100 rainbows for datnonameboi. Really gonna seal the deal. But it's alright, it's datnonameboi's, that was his first pick, winning his first point. So it's now the really important one here. Where will Prongle go, and will Prongle be able to win their own pick? So far this weekend, we've pretty much just been seeing sweeps. This is pretty common in the round of 32, as the vast majority of matchups are very wide in seeding. It's round of 16 where things start getting quite interesting. But you never like to rule things out, especially as the seeds do get closer, especially, you know, like 16, 17, 15, 18. It's all good, but Prongle's gonna first pick SV. So this is one of those types of maps where generally the technicality of the map is a lot lower. However, it does involve quite a bit of memorization through the SV itself. Once again, a very short map, and the BPM also being in the 150 range. But with the style of map this is, having those aspects, particularly the lower length, isn't too bad, because if one player is starting to make mistakes due to the SV, then you already know what the result is going to be. Oh, and to start off with Prongle finding a couple of misses on the doublets that are split, creating a really interesting effect. Alright, nailing the second lot though. Here we go, we have a single-hand memorization section. It's not quite call and response, but it's close enough. It looks like both players have been practicing this pretty well. We have a bit of speed up and slow down SV, going all the way down to almost slow jam tier. Back to that call and response. Oh, another miss from Prongle, potentially on the alternation aspect of that triplet. Things are looking really good for datnonameboi with a score lead of over 50,000, which is huge in Mania. Oh, but Prongle being the one to miss on these doublets as well. It's really not looking good for their first pick. Especially as this section is a bit more technically demanding as well. But it doesn't look like datnonameboi is going to be dropping on it. Alright, with a score lead of 112,000, datnonameboi takes a break point off of Prongle, 977k versus 865. And a very, very clean full combo, only 6 200s. Things are looking good for datnonameboi. This is a very, very short match, only 4 points needed to win. datnonameboi already on 2, meaning that only 1 more point is needed to secure that match point. They have decided to pick Hybrid 1. Okay, so this map is, in my opinion, as the seed 30 player for this tournament, so my opinion is not very strong relatively to everyone else here, but I personally feel that this is the most difficult map in the pool. It's a lot more mechanically demanding, and there's just a lot going on, especially as that BPM is raised up about 20 higher than the past 2 maps that we've seen. The speed aspect is also a bit more demanding as well. We're also seeing slightly longer patterns mixed with the LNs. datnonameboi going to be finding the first miss off the map and their first miss off the match too. Prongle having the first lead, but it is now flipping back and forth due to ratio differences. Seeing a lot more streamy patterns come in here. Both players are managing to hit them really confidently, but Prongle just struggling a bit more in that accuracy and finding a drop on the doublets. datnonameboi has recovered very, very well from the early mids, with a score lead of 18,000 that is slowly growing. And with Prongle missing on the next stream sections, it's looking really good. datnonameboi does find the miss, but it is on a single LN, so it's not affecting the accuracy too much. Have a section that is littered with a lot more triplets. And those really quick trill streams not catching either player out any time that they have featured. datnonameboi hovering around 99, 96.3 for Prongle. It's going to be really difficult to make the comeback. Does it look like we're going to be seeing a return break point here? Putting Prongle into a really rough position. And with a couple more misses to finish it out, datnonameboi takes his 3rd point with a score of 953,000 versus 852 with score lead of 100,000. So we're now at match point for datnonameboi. It's a very, very quick back and forth. Only 1 point needed to win. Prongle will need to win the next 3 maps in a row and take it to a tiebreaker. Fortunately for Prongle, 2 of those picks will be their own. And they're going to start off with Rice 1, the easiest map in the pool. I have a feeling it might be quite tough to win out against datnonameboi on the ratio battle, but you never know what will happen. Yeah, this map is a very nice, simple one. It plays a lot into just like, well, I was gonna call them doublets. Yeah, but I've been calling hitting 2 notes at the same time doublets. Differently snapped doublets, actual doublets. Okay, the other doublets are now chords. I've changed my mind. The other ones are chords. These ones are actual doublets. The BPM is only 113, but I do believe it is 1.3, so it is a bit faster. Or it might be like 1-6, I can't remember the exact snapping. Once again, we're here at another short one, 1 minute 33. But you're seeing what I'm meaning by the doublets, kind of both kind of going across left and right, as well as on the same lane. We're seeing the ratio battle in full force at the moment. 99.93 for datnonameboi versus 99.70 for Prongle. Score is in favour of datnonameboi, but only by a slight margin, of around 2,000. Halfway through this one already. A single mistake will pretty much decide the result of this map. Looks like a couple more regular 300s from Prongle's going to give datnonameboi a score advantage of just shy of 4,000. But it is jumping back and forth. Very difficult to decide. Only a quarter of the map left to go. Barons get a bit more dense here. If Prongle's to stay in the winner's bracket, we're really going to have to see datnonameboi pick up misses now. But even with my best efforts to caster curse, datnonameboi full combos the map with an outstanding ratio with only 40 regular 300s. Prongle putting on a very great performance as well with a 99.69 full combo double S. But unfortunately that means Prongle has lost the match, despite having really strong scores, especially for Seed 24 I'd say. So I think they're going to be a very powerful player in the losers bracket, especially in these earlier stages. datnonameboi is going to continue to advance on into the winners bracket further towards the round of 16. I can't remember who their future opponents will be, but I'm sure you can all figure it out in the challenge, which is linked on the Discord server, along with pretty much everything else. So if you're new to 2Key and you haven't seen everything like this yet, yeah, just join the server, and that's where kind of everything's going on. We do all things low-key, not just 2Key. Yeah, we've still got loads more matches left to go this weekend as well. We've only just touched the surface. Most of them will be held tomorrow. We have a couple more matches coming up at 22 UTC and 23 UTC. But most matches are going to be later on Sunday, all throughout the day. So if you're not able to catch the next couple, there's still plenty more where this came from. And I believe we'll be taking a break, as I don't believe I can personally entertain you all for over an hour by myself. So have a good evening, or continued afternoon, or maybe even early morning, wherever you are. And we will see you again in about an hour and a half for more 2Key action.